but we know we have to go on, and we know that that's what he's wanting us to do.
So make your mama proud. Stick with us on RPM tonight. And welcome, race fans, and happy Mother's Day if you're a race fan and a mother, or if you're a mother and your child weaseled you into watching this show. See the fight for entry into Indy real soon, but the other open-wheel gang goes first. The home crowd in Brazil got to see two homegrowns on the front row for the Hollywood Rio 400. But whether Guzman and Moreno would last as leaders was a less pressing question in the end than if Rahal's lead would vanish. Vanish like fuel does when you stand on the accelerator, and away we go to Rio de Janeiro. A fancy beauty shot. Everything nice and lovely until the pace lap. Andre Ribeiro right into Parker Johnstone. Richie Hearn's involved. Daryl Frankitti's involved. Adrian Fernandez all get into it. It's a big five-car dog pile down the first lap. Roberto Moreno comes down on Paul Tracy, and we've got a caution again. Check it out. You'll see it from Moreno's car. Presently, Moreno couldn't even see Tracy underneath him, nor did he signal. Both of them would continue. Now the second restart, and it's coming, and Paul Tracy once again involved. Loses it coming out the corner, throws up some smoke, doesn't hit anything, keeps on going, which right now doesn't sound like much, but it may impact things later. Another restart, try again, and they're racing. And Bobby Rahal, Letterman's guy, flying up, takes the lead from pole sitter Mauricio Guzman. Then more trouble for the pole sitter. Guzman tries to pass Moreno on the outside. He slips, hits Moreno, and he's into the wall. The car ripped apart. Wild Dogs later tore it further apart. He's okay, though. The car wasn't out of the race. A look from Moreno's car. Guzman spins in front of him. Over his front end, Moreno spins, but he would continue to race. Now trouble for Michael Andretti into the pits. Engine trouble. A lot of guys looking at the vehicle, but there's no hope. He's done. Engine's gone. Later, seventh caution of the day. Gunther Solid's blown an engine out, spinning on his own oil. He, too, done for the day as he's going sideways. The eighth caution, Miguel Jordan, spinning and slam into the wall. Car torn apart. He's okay, but not for racing. The car, a mess. Rahal led most of the day. Paul Tracy trying to catch him in second. Now 2 laps to go. Rahal in front, looking for his first win in a long, long time, but out of gas. He passed up a service station offering 6 commemorative glasses with a fill-up. Last lap, it's Tracy in front, all alone. Led only 2 laps, but they happen to be the last 2 laps. He's in front in Rio, the winner, for the second straight time in a kart race, and there is much rejoicing. 2 straight kart wins for Paul Tracy and the Penske Mercedes. Another Canuck, Greg Moore, chased Tracy to the line second. He was way back, though. Scott Pruitt up next for third. Alex Zanardi making a big comeback from his starting spot at 26. Raul Baicel, the first Brazilian to come across. Letterman's other driver, Brian Herta, was 6. Al Unser Jr. next. Rahal ended up way back in 10th after the fuel ran out. Now, as for those Brazilians, Moreno's engine blew. The pole sitter Guzman was knocked out on lap 56. But here's the guy who's knocked him off 2 straight with our man Jan Beekes.
Paul Tracy, the first repeat winner for 1997. Congratulations. That was a wild race. Now you can say you had a spin and win. Tell us first about the spin.
Well, we didn't know the green was coming. I didn't know it was coming, and the tires were cold. And usually try to warm them up on that last lap, and it just caught me out. I jumped on the throttle. I was in 6th gear, and I clicked it down to second and jumped on the throttle and just snapped out on me. So, hey, we came back. Pit stop guys did great job, and the Mercedes-Benz got us the fuel mileage that we need to get at the end, and Goodyear tires got us up there. I knew I had to pressure Bobby because he pitted before me. I knew we were light on fuel, and so I knew he'd be worse than I was, and I just tried to push him as quick as we could go, and he ran out of fuel.
Did you think you were going to run out there at the end?
No, I knew we had enough. I knew we had just enough, and because of what we did early on, when I got behind those guys, I saved fuel, and we got a full tank of fuel on our stop, so I knew I had enough fuel. It was going to be marginal if there wasn't that last yellow, but I knew Bobby had pitted before me, and that I knew that, you know, I had to push him hard to make him run out of fuel.
Paul Tracy and Team Penske, they're on a roll.
Thanks, John. 12 races still to go, and Tracy's already blown away what he did last season. He did not win in 1996. He ended up with just 60 PPG Cup points. Now, after just 5 races, 2 wins and 65 points. On now to more kart talk, starting with the guy who ran out of gas, Bobby Rahal.
I don't know how I feel right now. I mean, the car was so good in the race, and you know, we had a little fuel pressure problem, but the engine ran beautifully. I mean, the car was just hooked up, and it was just fun to drive. But everybody was marginal, and we were trying to short shift and do everything we could, and you know, it showed a little bit of fuel left in the tank, but it died coming out of 4, and that was that. I think we had to go for it, because if we'd come in and stopped for fuel, we would have ended up probably right where we are anyway. So I'm just sorry for my guys, because the car was awesome, and I think we led just about all the laps, and I mean, we didn't lead the right one, unfortunately, but you know, I think we showed that we're back, though.
I really enjoy this track. I mean, as I'm sure everyone on TV saw, it was just a great race. I mean, a lot of passing, you know, real close running, and it was a lot of fun to drive today.
And to the points now, 2 straight wins puts Paul Tracy on top for the season. He's 4 points up on Scott Pruitt. Alex Zanardi stands in 3rd, then Michael Andretti and Greg Moore. The 96 champion, Jimmy Vasser, is in 6th. Allenser Jr. in 7th. Guzman and Boisel 8th and 9th, with the Farron and Herta tied for 10th after 5 of 17 events. Bob Barsha and Danny Sullivan were in Rio and may still be, depending on how their flights were booked.
Well, here at the Emerson Fittipaldi Speedway, round 5 of the PPG Kart World Series began with a surprise. Mauricio Gugelmin taking his first career pole, and we saw more surprises in the race, Danny, including a yellow flag before we ever saw the green.
Well, as they were coming down to take the green, Parker Johnstone, it appeared like he got it sideways, turned and went across the field, took out a number of cars. Some of them got back in. He got back in and finished 12th.
All of that happened down in turn 4. We saw some other spins, too. Paul Tracy and Richie Hearn both went around in that corner.
Well, of course, Paul Tracy, he didn't realize they were going to go green, jumped it down into 2nd gear, broke it loose, got it sideways, spun, and I think Richie Hearn just lost it there. But no foul, no incident, nobody damaged the car. They both finished the race. Obviously, Paul Tracy winning it.
We eventually got to green flag racing. This year, CART introduced a new impact restraint system down in the corners. A tire wall covered with a tarp, wrapped with some industrial belting, and Mauricio Gugelmin, our pole sitter, gave it a heck of a test.
Well, he did, and he went in there very fast, and I think it did everything that it was supposed to be. The drivers love it. They think this is a great innovation, and I think we're going to see this at the racetracks around the world.
After all the yellow flags, we had long green flag running and a great duel between Bobby Rahal trying to end a 70-race winless drought against Paul Tracy, who had just won 2 weeks earlier at Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Bobby gambled on fuel, and he lost.
Well, he gave it the best he possibly could, but he stopped that little bit too early. He had some yellow laps, which helped him, but he ran a lap short of going green, and he had a great race, led the most laps, but unfortunately he didn't make it.
Heartbreak for Bobby Rahal, but a victory for Paul Tracy, his 2nd in a row, 12th career win. Greg Moore finished 2nd, equaling his best ever CART performance, and Scott Pruitt came home in 3rd. The new points leader as we head for round 6 in St. Louis is Paul Tracy. That's the story from here in Rio de Janeiro. Let's get back to the studio.
Thanks, gang. Brazilians were 1-2 at the start, as it shows you, but didn't come home so well at home in Rio. You saw Boisel in 5th earlier, but the rest of the Brazilians were way back sucking exhaust. The Farron was next best to Boisel, and he was good for only 11th. The pole sitter, Guzman, 22nd with that wreck. The other Williams driver, Heinz Harold Frentzen, won the pole for the F1 event in Monaco. It was his first ever, and the first time this season his teammate Jacques Villeneuve was not in the 1 spot. The race provided another first this season, and here we go to Monaco, where it's not a bag lady, just using a bag overhead, cloudy, rainy, people improvising, but the pole sitter goes away from a standard use of rain tires, stays with the slicks, and Heinz Harold Frentzen would pay for his transgressions at the start, and away they go. Michael Schumacher and Giancarlo Fisichella, they're both using rain tires, and they're both flying by Frentzen. Later on the first lap, David Coulthard spinning out, Mika Hakkinen and Genelesi is into him, and there's a tire all over the course. It's a big mess in the chicane. More problems with the wet stuff. Jarno Trulli, a little wide on the corner, locks up, slams into the wall. To Johnny Herbert, he's slamming the wall, and he's done too. Points later, Jacques Villeneuve coming in after being lapped, hitting the wall. He's done. He's out of the race. Lap 50. A little scare for the leader. Michael Schumacher flying around, can't make the turn, goes off the course. Tow charges are murder in Monaco, so he just floors it. Spins around, gets back on course. Had about a minute 15 lead, so it didn't much matter. And he did not look back. Michael Schumacher, the checkered flag for the first win of the season for him, is 3rd at Monaco. Biancello and Irvine, they finished 2nd and 3rd. Schumacher now in front in the driver's standing after the 23rd win of his career. Jacques Villeneuve drops back to 2nd, but he is close. Irvine alone in 3rd, and pretty much everybody tied next at 14 points in the fourth spot, which really be 5, 6, and 7. You got Berger, Coulthard, Frentzen, and Hakkinen. We are 2 weeks away from the Indianapolis 500. The pole position is set, and look who wants in behind Arie Luyendyk. It's Steve Kinzer of World of Outlaws fame. We'll have his story coming up real soon on RPM tonight. And later on this RPM, a very special guest in the driver's seat, Martha Nemechek, on Mother's Day. She speaks of the loss of her son, John.
Anything you do, there's danger. And I just feel that the boys were happy in what they were doing, and they thanked us every night, every time we got through with the race. They just said, "Thank you, Mom and Dad."
C'est si bon de partir n'importe où, bras dessus, en chantant des chansons. C'est si bon de se dire des mots doux, de petits rien du tout, mais qui en disent en langue.
Buy a case of Valvoline during our Big Race sweepstakes and get a $4 main rebate. Look for details on specially marked Valvoline motor oil, because if a $4 rebate doesn't move you, the grand prize Mark Martin race car will.
The bike you dream about means serious cash, right? Wrong, people. Do the math. During Suzuki Fest 97, get up to $500 in Suzuki accessories free when you buy a selected Suzuki. Like the muscle-bound Intruder 1400. You'll also get free accessories with the Intruder 800 and the Savage 650. And choose from finance options like 0 down and 9.9% APR on selected models. But hurry, Suzuki Fest won't last. So you and Suzuki means, well, you do the math.
Guess what you'll find in the leading car protectors? Water. Over 50% water. Black Magic contains no water, so quit getting soaked. Use Black Magic Professional Protectant for total protection. Now there's Black Magic for your car's paint. Introducing Black Magic Paint Protectant with Teflon. It shines and protects your car's finish from pollution and acid rain. So the only thing that sticks to your car is the shine. Black Magic Paint Protectant with Teflon.
RPM Tonight is being brought to you by Black Magic. Keep your car looking great with Black Magic Professional Protectant and Paint Protectant.
A greeting for not only my mom, but all the moms in the world. Happy Mother's Day.
Hey, Mom, sorry I couldn't be there with you. Hope you're having a good Mother's Day. Love you. Bye-bye.
To everybody out there, happy Mother's Day, and especially Kathy back at home, happy Mother's Day to you. It's my mom.
The RL guys reaching out to Mom. The pole sitter found his place in the race Saturday. Arie Luyendyk has the top spot for the second time in his career in the Indy 500. Sunday was for lining up behind him and the other 20 guys who had already qualified. And away we go to a name you know each week in the World of Outlaws. Sprint King Steve Kinzer looking to make the big show. Now, he tried back in 1981 but crashed and never did qualify. But here he is 16 years later. Kinzer becomes the 22nd driver to qualify for the Indy 500. An average speed of 210.793, and he is much pleased.
We found some speed this morning, and in myself, probably more so. I think the car, it was always in the car. I think they just had to get me settled down, and everybody worked with me and got me settled down, and we got it up above 210, and we thought we'd go ahead and qualify.
Kinzer making it happen. What about this guy, rookie Greg Ray? 13 minutes to go, and Ray flying along. Looked like he had a good speed, 215 and change. Fourth and final lap, you got to do 4 out of gas. Like Ray Hall in Rio, but different. We'll have to try again to make the field. Still some time left. 6 minutes to go. Robbie Groff, his third qualifying run, and he's racing 4-lap average, 207.792. He's the 6th rookie to make the field for the Indy 500. A medical update here now on Scott Sharp, I should say. He was injured in a practice wreck on Friday. He's been diagnosed with a minor brain hemorrhage. He's out of the hospital, and he's in good condition. Though he is, his driving status, rather, is still to be determined for the Indianapolis 500. Stay around. Still more of RPM Tonight coming. Something unseen in Talladega is what we'll show you. It's no trick. It's the story of what was. But first, the Best Buy question. It's all about the non-points event that's coming up next week in Winston Cup. What was the only year the Winston, the name of the race, was not held in Charlotte? Stay around.
you ready for more? More action, more danger, more impact. Well, your wait is over. The hottest, most intense, extreme crash impact ever. Crash Impact 2. 70 minutes of explosive, heart-stopping crash action. You have to see to believe. All new crashes from Superbike, Harley Series, drag racing, stock cars, sprint cars, Supercross, Indy cars, flat track, and more. All jam-packed on 2 tapes for only $19.95. Order now and get absolutely free the new Extreme Sports Virtual Reality, featuring insane extreme sports from around the world like you've never seen before. You'll get the all-new Crash Impact 2, plus the Extreme Sports video free. 3 tapes that'll blow you away. Guaranteed or your money back.
To order, call 1-800-310-6116. That's 1-800-310-6116. Or send $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen.
Extreme external pressure has a unique impact on the human psyche, pushing people to heights previously thought unattainable and enabling them to succeed in their ultimate goal.
The Oilers take on the Avalanche tonight at 7:30.
Welcome to the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN2.
New Castrol Super Clean All-Wheel Cleaner is uniquely formulated to instantly release brake dust and road grime, so your wheels will look new, even if your car isn't. Castrol Super Clean All-Wheel Cleaner outperforms all leading wheel cleaners.
Building sandcastles is a real art form.
You say you can't do it, we don't believe you. We teach you.
We build sandcastles because of the fantasy element.
That's a South Texas snowball. We decided about 2 years ago to put our creations on the internet.
I'd say there's a great deal of connection between building a sandcastle and building a website.
For all your computer needs, get to Best Buy, where through Saturday you can get no interest for 1 year on all Pentium processor computers with MMX technology.
Usually sand and computers don't mix.
And the Best Buy question and answer: what was the only year the Winston was not held in Charlotte? It was 1986. Atlanta the site. Next week back in Charlotte for the non-points event. Now headed to Talladega for Saturday's makeup race, the Winston 500 Racing. Jeff Gordon inside with Jimmy Spencer and Mark Martin. They're all flying by at $1.90. Lap 18. Dale Earnhardt into the lead. First lead since Daytona. Dale Jarrett, points leader, coming in, has problems, dropped the cylinder, dropped from 9th back to 30th in just a couple of laps. Now 72 to go, and the king of the restrictor plate, or so he's called. Sterling Marlin not going very fast there, out of the race. Still green flag, which is phenomenal at this track. 48 to go now. Mark Martin, the winner in Sonoma, still on the lead, passes Earnhardt. He's out in front, looking for 2 in a row. Dale Jarrett, 4 laps behind the leaders, comes in 35th. Jarrett winless at Talladega. 10 to go, and they're still under green. Still no caution. 9 laps to go. Mark Martin trying to hold off Dale Earnhardt. He charges after and goes inside, then outside. Martin's there to block, and he wins his 2nd straight Winston Cup race. Mark Martin in front, 20th win overall. 2nd at Talladega. Fastest winning speed ever in a NASCAR race. And the first race at Talladega without a caution. Points go this way after 10 events. Last season's champion Terry Labonte with the 6th place is in front now in the points, followed by his teammate and 1995 champ Jeff Gordon. Dale Jarrett backed up to 3rd place after being 35th on Saturday. Mark Martin just 150 points off the lead with those 2 wins in a row. And Bobby Labonte, he's in the 5 spot. In the driver's seat is next Martha Nemechek on a most solemn Mother's Day, but even with her loss, she doesn't put the blame on the sport of racing.
Well, if their child is really interested and wants to work a lot of hours, work hard, and really wants to strive for that, you know, that honor to race, then I would say you have to back them.
People shop at All Pro and Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts for all sorts of reasons.
I like the price. No matter what I'm looking for, I get the best value right here, right now. Great service and expert advice.
Look at this selection. Everything from Fix Up to Dress Up. And all these national brands. All Pro and Bumper to Bumper have just what I'm looking for.
You know, in my business, I have to have the best quality parts, the best service, and the best prices. I can get all 3 right here.
All Pro and Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts. Everything you need to do the job right.
When Quaker State sponsored Jeff Gordon finished first at the Daytona 500, maybe it was luck. And maybe when Quaker State teammate Terry Labonte came in second, it was just another good day at the track. But with Quaker State's Ricky Craven coming in third, you just have to wonder, is there something special in this team's blood or in their engines? Quaker State, the quality the Hendricks Racing Team demands, the quality your car deserves. Quaker State, a clean sweep at Daytona.
For years, ESPN has been working to improve sports for the fan.
With this new helmet, ESPN commentators can interview a batter while he's at the plate. Slugger Mickey Mantle demonstrates.
Hey, Mick. Can you hear us, Mick? Is this distracting?
Boycotted by players, the helmet did lead to a breakthrough in coverage for all sports. ESPN Sports Zone, with Peter Gammon's baseball column, player profiles, everything you need to be a better fan. ESPN Sports Zone, technology for you.
Happy Mother's Day, Ma, in Greensboro. Love you a lot.
I'd like to wish my wife, Pam, a happy Mother's Day, and also my mom, I'd like to wish her happy Mother's Day. I don't get to spend a full happy Mother's Day with her until this year, so it feels pretty good. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, this is a very special Mother's Day for me, because we just had a little baby about 3 weeks ago, so I want to wish Donna a very happy Mother's Day, and of course my mom, too. If you forget your mom, you're in big trouble.
Hey, Mom. Margaret Jean Waltrip, happy Mother's Day, and Stephanie Hamilton Waltrip, happy Mother's Day.
Hi, I'm Joe Nemechek, and I want to wish my mom, Martha, happy Mother's Day, and my wife, Andrea, happy Mother's Day to be.
There's joy and sadness in the Nemechek family. We throw around the word courage carelessly sometimes. Overuse of its meaning is diminished, which is unfair to those who properly deserve the description. Martha Nemechek is one very much deserving. She lost her son John in a wreck this season, and we're honored to have her in this week's driver's seat with John Kernan. As the years go by, it becomes more apparent that the cards and the flowers and the meals we try to honor our mothers with on this day aren't what they seek at all. Time. That's what they want.
John and Joe loved racing, and that was their ultimate dream, is to want. John said to me not less than a month ago, Mama, one day I'm going to be racing with Joe and Winston Cup. And, you know, it brought him so much happiness, me too, and my husband, to think that Joe and John could race the truck series. That was the only series that they got to race together in, and it was real nice just have them race together. But we've been racers, fans, since we've been married since 1959, and we love it. And we just, the boys wanted to do this in motorcycles, and then mini stocks, late model, and all-pro, and then now John in trucks, and Joe and Winston Cup. And that was our boys' dream, to both race a race together.
But that's kind of, for a mother, I know my mom would just be nervous every time. How do you cope with that? Do you think it helps you because you're at the track so often?
Yes. Just this last time, that's the first race I missed of John's, and I regret not being there. But it's worse being at home.
So after John's accident, did you think at all about going to Joe and asking him not to race anymore?
Yes, I did. But Joe, his remarks were to me that, Mom, I could get killed in a car wreck, I could have a heart attack, I could stand out on the street corner and somebody could shoot me. And he says, this is my life, and this is what I do as a profession, you know. And he said, Mom and Dad, you know, we're happy that you're there for us and help us. So I have to look at it that way.
In the Busch Series race at Talladega, had a good car, and then, like happens at Talladega, somebody's mistake takes you out of the race, and you were standing right there on pit road and saw it all.
That was our first race back at Talladega after John's passing, but it was hard for us to come back, but we wanted to because NASCAR was our family, and we needed to come back, and we're not going to stay away.
The shot they showed on ESPN during the broadcast, it was both cheering at the same moment and then the next moment.
I know. It was, I really got upset. I could see Joe, and I was cheering for him, and I knew he was, you know, going to go ahead. And then all of a sudden I seen this wreck with whoever the car was that started it, you know, and then I saw Joe wreck, and then I was standing on pit road wall, and I looked up and I seen the fire, and that's what scared me. I just thought, here we go again, you know, with another fire. And it's a worry. It really is.
What is the bond between the drivers, their families, everybody in that garage area? What is that like?
Oh, it's the most wonderful feeling that I've ever felt. You know, I felt that same thing when we started with Joe and racing in Bush. And the people are there to help you. You know, just like when Joe started, and I've got to give Dale Earnhardt, you know, the credit for that. He's like another son to me. And he helped Joe. He sponsored Joe. He was one of these people would say, if I can do anything for you, you know, and my name was the same as his mother's name, Martha. And he just took a liking to Joe, and the closeness that you have and the prayer group that we have, you know, that's what's important. I can remember many times when we were in the pits, you know, there'd be people there, I'm going to say the poor class of racers, just like we were, because we didn't have a sponsor, and we had to, make do with what we had, but we had good equipment. And I can remember times I would feed these people, you know, and they were there at the hospital for us, you know, and that's what really helped us get through.
It's the toughest thing I ever had to go through, and I know as far as our whole family.
You miss John, but we know we have to go on, and we know that that's what he's wanted us to do.
Martha Nemechek went out of her way to make certain that special thanks were given to Dennis Huth, Wayne Otten, Ken Van Avery, Jim Lanning, Randy Claypool, and Max Helton. And that list, of course, doesn't include the many cards and telegrams from people all over the world. And we thank her for being in the driver's seat and for her example.
In the Driver's Seat is brought to you by My McDonald's. Just watch us cook.
Not bad for an old place. You can wave to adoring crowds from your balcony, sleep in a king-size bed, and the fuzzy hats are a nice touch. Or maybe you'd like something a little less lived in, like the new Motel 6. We're renovating all across America and adding some nice touches of our own for what's still the best price of any national chain. The new Motel 6. It's sort of like the royal treatment without the fuzzy hats.
Buy a case of Valvoline during our Big Race sweepstakes and get a $4 making rebate. Look for details on specially marked Valvoline motor oil, because if a $4 rebate doesn't move you, the grand prize Mark Martin race car will.
It's Kawasaki's Cash Splash. That means up to $1,900 off jet ski watercraft and up to $1,000 cash back. Plus, 0 down, 0 interest, 0 payment till September 97. The Cash Splash, now at your Kawasaki dealer.
It's the highlights. The insights. The spotlights. From the inside out. It's NBA Tonight, playoff style, only on ESPN2.
RPM Tonight is being brought to you by Kawasaki Jet Ski Watercraft. For a limited time only, get up to $1,000 cash back on selected jet ski watercraft. See dealers for details. And by Motel 6. The new Motel 6 is renovating across America. Call 1-800-4-MOTEL-6 for reservations.
And please watch RPM all week long, 7 o'clock Monday through Saturday. Next Sunday, 12:30 for RPM Today, 8:30 for RPM Tonight. Ray Hall out of gas, Tracy in front in Rio. We'll see you.